Hello, my name is Louis Okoro. I'm the son of Mrs. Grace Nwanedi Okoro and David Sampson Okoro. Um, my mother is the third daughter of Chief Benjamin Okorafo, and my father is the third in-law of Chief Benjamin Okorafo. My father is from Obinkita, Aruchuku, and my mom is from Isim, Aruchuku. My parents got married in 1948. And so my mother has been married into my father's family, even though he's late, for 77 years now. And so I'm making this documentary to just tell the story of my grandfather. Um, I'm his grandson on my maternal side. I'm the grandson of Chief Benjamin Okorafo on my mother's side of the family. And so I knew my grandfather very well. My grandfather was a wealthy merchant of his time at a town called Uzuakali. That's where he established his business, and the Lord blessed his efforts. He did very well, and he was a man um, who saw the future. At the time my grandfather came along, girls were not sent to school. But this man sent his daughters to school because his first three children were girls before the fourth one was a boy. And at this time in the history in Igbo land, men did not care about sending girls to school. But my grandfather sent her daughters to school. Um, my mom, as I said, is the third daughter. The two elder sisters were Da Alice and Da Mary, and then my mom. And three of them were sent to school to go to a boarding school at Ovim, which is almost about 20 miles away from his home. And that's how important education was to him. And so my grandfather was the first man to send his girls to school in the entire community at that time. And people were, laughing and mocking and like, oh, why are you wasting money sending girls to school? He told them, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. And as time went on, everybody imitated him. Everybody started sending their girls to school. And so he's a pace setter. He's a man that saw the future. And God blessed his efforts. He was able to make a difference in the world. And all the girls that he sent to school have had their own children. And because of what he did to them, they sent all their children to school. And today we are all over the world uh, doing great things because of the vision of a man that went against the grain. Definitely went against the grain by sending his girls to school. That's the kind of a man my grandfather was. And so I just want to thank God for him. I thank God for his legacy. And to tell you something, he sent his first son, to go to school in the United States of America when it was not a common thing at all. And so my uncle Dayman was sent to go to the university at Iowa in the United States of America in the 50s. And sending him to the United States made a world of difference in our family because that was how we young people came to hear about the possibility of anybody going to school in the United States of America. And these are the things my grandfather did when a whole lot of people who had the same resources that he had didn't even think of doing so. And so Dayman was sent to the United States to go for his college education or his university degree. And it was while he was in the United States that he got the information about um, Patrice Lumumba Friendship University in the old Soviet Union. He is the one that got that information and brought that information to our family. And that was how that doctor went to Russia to study medicine. And so my grandfather, because of what he did, was among the first men in Nigeria to have a daughter who was a trained medical doctor. I would say that doctor may be among the first 20 female doctors in Nigeria. And that is the vision of my grandfather. My grandfather had a female doctor in his family before even his sons started to, go to medical school. And so that doctor went to the Soviet Union to study medicine at Patrice Lumumba Friendship University in Moscow and came back in the 60s with his medical degree and has been a doctor ever since that time. And so we are very grateful to the Lord for what the Lord has done in the life of my grandfather. He was a wealthy merchant and he made good use of his resources. He built a house about 85 years ago that is still standing up till today. My grandfather built a house that is still standing up till today. So he made money. He did not waste his resources. He invested his resources in real estate, in educating his children, and making sure that they will have a brighter and a greater future than he himself has had. And that is exactly what has happened today in our family. We are all over the world. We are all over the world. Uh, my grandfather has family in the United States of America, in the United Kingdom, and look at little old me. I'm here in Swaziland as a missionary. That is the seed that my grandfather sowed so many long years ago. And so we are trying to remember the legacy of this man, and we are very grateful to the Lord that he was a very wise man, made wise decisions, and made decisions that changed the trajectory of his family even up to today. And so we just want to celebrate his legacy and thank God for such a man that saw the future way beyond his peers. None of his peers comes even close to the way my grandfather saw the future. He was a man that was married to 7 wives. 7 wives. And he raised up his family in such a way that you will not know that his children comes from different mothers. He was a loving man, a man that believed in the unity of the family, and he made sure that his family was solidly united. And that still upholds up till today. We do things with one another. There are not much people fighting each other. And up till today, we are still a very united family that my grandfather foresaw. And let me quickly tell a personal story of my own. When I was a little boy growing up, my parents lived in Ekore, and so I was growing up in Ekore. My parents made a determination that I would know both sides of my family. And so during the summer holidays, I will go to either Mbosi, where my father's family lives, or to Uzuakole, where my mother's family lives. And so one of those summers, I went to Uzuakole for my summer holidays and spent about 6 weeks in Uzuakole. And when it was time for me to go back to my parents in Ekorepene, my grandfather gave me 2 shillings. 2 shillings. And this was in the 60s. And 2 shillings in the 60s was a lot of money. A lot of money for a little guy like me. At that time, if somebody gives you 2 pence, you are a very rich guy. And if they give you 3 pence, oh my goodness, you made it. My grandfather gave me 2 shillings. And that's something I'll never forget up till today. When I got that gift from my grandfather, I felt like a very rich boy that I can buy the whole world. And so that's an experience that has stayed with me. Um, and I just want to thank him for his generosity. He was a very generous man. He never, ever, ever denied his children any good thing. Whatever is good for them, he made it available to them. And let me add here that because of the house my grandfather built, when he built it, that house is still standing up till today in Uzuaka. There was a civil war in Nigeria, a terrible, terrible civil war. And it was in my grandfather's house in Uzuakoli that all of us came to shelter during the civil war. It was in his house in Uzuakoli from 1967. We all came together to Uzuakoli to shelter in my grandfather's house during the civil war. Imagine a situation where he didn't build that house when he built it. We would have been homeless at that time. And because of his vision, he knew what was important in life and he executed these things like, wow, it's only God that could have given him that wisdom. And so the home my grandfather built in Uzuakol, all of his grandchildren and many of his daughters who were married came home to his home with all their children. And that's how I met most of my cousins. It was during the Civil War that I met most of my cousins in my grandfather's house, in my grandfather's home. And so we all met there, and that connection that was made during that time of crisis still binds us together up till today. And so my grandfather built a house that is still standing up till today. And that is what God used in saving us during the Civil War. All of us, majority of his children, daughters whom were married, came back to his home. And that's where we sheltered till the war ended in 1970. This was from 67 to 1970. And so um, the house he built 85 years ago still stands up till today. That is legacy. That is a man that has wisdom. That is a man that saw the future before even the future gets there. And so my grandfather is a great, great merchant. He did not cheat anybody. If you have any misunderstanding with him, he will say, take and go. Because he had this principle. I don't want to fight with anybody so that they can in turn use that as an excuse to hurt my children. And so I'm going to do whatever it takes to protect my children. And that's what he did. He was peaceful all through his life. He never took anything that didn't belong to him. And that's why his legacy is still standing up till today. We are all over the world and doing great things for the Lord and in honor of him for the vision that he had for our family. He, he never fought with anybody. Um, he made wise choices. He had real estate in Umuahia, number 1.5 year road property. Used to be his property. I personally know that property. He also had a house in Port Harcourt. And, and so he was not a wasteful man. He knew what was important and he made investments accordingly. Accordingly. And he knew that money was a very temporal thing, that if you don't invest it well, it will come and go. So the investment my grandfather made over 80 years ago or more still stands up till today. The house he built still stands. The education he provided his daughters and his sons still stands because all of us have benefited from that legacy of making good choices. And so for me, he's a challenge to me. He's somebody that I will emulate. He's somebody I will imitate to know what is important and to invest in the important things of life and not to invest in frivolities. Not to, oh, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. but he quietly and calmly invested and made sure that his sons and daughters were fully and properly educated so that we, the grandchildren, can carry on from where he stopped. And that is exactly what is going on today. And so, as the family gather all this information to remember him, to remember his legacy, I am so, so glad to contribute what I know of him and what a difference he's made in my own personal life. And so, in conclusion, I want to say that the Okoro family, which is my father's family, is the only family that married 3 times into the Okorafor's family. My mom was the first to marry into the Okorafor's family, to marry into the Okoro's family, followed by Damabel, being the second daughter of my grandfather that married into the Okoro's family, followed by Dan Nene, who is the last among the last daughters that married into the Okoro's family. And I am proud to report that all the ladies that married into the Okoro's family are still all alive. The Okoros treat their wives well, and I'm so glad that we never, ever, you know, made any mistakes when it comes to taking care of our wives. All 3 ladies are still alive today, and their husbands all have gone to be with the Lord. And so I thank God for my grandfather's legacy, and we called him Dede at that time. And so I am so thankful that this is my legacy. This is my inheritance. This is my heritage that Dede passed on to us as a family. And may we continue that love and that unity that he built amongst us that is still prevailing up till today. And so I want to celebrate all my cousins, my nieces, my nephews. I can't mention everybody's name. It's too much. There's over 100 of us all over the place. And so it's very difficult to mention everybody's name at this point. So I thank God for my mom. I thank God for Chidi, who is the chairman of uh, the Okorafos family as it stands today. And so, thank you, my cousins. Thank you, my nieces. Thank you, my nephews. Thank you. Let's continue to carry on this legacy, and let's continue to do what this man has set in motion for us. Let us continue to honor him and to remember him for the kind of man that he was, a man that saw the future, a man that made wise investments and did not waste his resources as most people did. It's his investments and his resources standing and declaring, that's a wise man. That's a man that knew what was going to happen down the road. God really blessed him, and God gave him the wisdom to do what is proper was needful. And so, thank you, everybody. And uh, as we document the life and legacy of Chief Benjamin Okorafo, who we all call Dede, I hope that every other person will remember something that Dede did in their life. This is my story. I am Dr. Double O, Obioha Louis Okoro. I'm a medical doctor, a trained pediatrician, a professor of pediatrics, and the first grandson of Dede to go to medical school. And so we are very grateful for his legacy, and we thank God for his life. Thank you, and God bless us all.